This is Constance from Mysterious Hearts, and I'm coming at you with the second podcast. And this podcast is titled How to Deal with CHD, How to Deal with Congenital Heart Disease. And now, congenital heart disease is a very, very broad subject. It is very, very difficult to narrow it down to one thing, especially because CHD, congenital heart disease, is just a large name for any person with a heart issue that is complex and things like that, and they were born with it and such. And this is just a podcast on how to navigate your way through it, how to navigate somebody else's way through it, how to be a part of the process if you're somebody's friend, you're a family member, or if you yourself are somebody with congenital heart disease. There's so many people out in the world that have this, and it is not talked about as much as it should be talked about because it's happening. It's happening all the time. It's here every day, all day, and this is just one way to get it out into the world and be like, you know what? This is how some people can or should or could deal with congenital heart disease, or if you're a friend, a family member, a teacher, a sibling, anything that you interact with a person with congenital heart disease, then maybe this is some of the ways that you could help them out if they're not ready to take the next step because they might be scared. And so my personal experience, I never really spoke to anybody. I kept to myself. I was very quiet about it. I wasn't really out and open about talking about it because I was mad at myself for having it, and I was mad at my parents, and I was mad at anything that would just give me an excuse to be upset, because I was like, why does it have to be me? Why am I the one that has to deal with this? Why am I the one that has to go through this? And I learned throughout the years that maybe I should go see someone like a psychologist, or sometimes I'll confide in my cardiologist and say, hey, this is what's going on. I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know how I feel about it because I'm scared. I feel alone. There's just so much going on that I don't really know what to do, and I don't really know how to talk about it. And I kind of feel like if I was given some questions, I'd probably be able to answer them. So I recommend seeing somebody such as a psychologist, because that's their department. They're trained in having a sit down and having a conversation, and even a therapist or something like that. You could also even go to a support group. I don't know of any support groups at this time. I personally have not been to one, nor heard of one for congenital heart disease. I've heard of plenty other support groups, but start your own support group. That would probably be such a great idea, to just get it out there, get the word out there, and say, hey, I need some help. I don't really know what to do, and I'm kind of just stuck, and I really need some help to navigate through all of this. And talking to other people within your age, or just talking to other people who are dealing with the same thing, is a great idea, because they know exactly what you're talking about, and they know exactly how you could possibly feel, and it just helps you go through it a little bit easier and navigate a little bit easier. And now, when I first met people, I was 8 years old. I went to a camp called Camp del Corazon through the Nick and Kelly Heart Fund. They used to send Arizona residents to California, and we would go to the camp over there, and we would be together and see everybody and all of that. And so that was when I started to meet other people with congenital heart disease. and I would talk to them about, like, what were they going through, what were they dealing with, are they dealing with the same thing, are they different than me, do we have the same story, do we have some differences here and there, do they feel some things that I feel, and just like I got a great group of friends from that, being able to go to that camp. Again, it was called Camp Del Corazon. It is a nonprofit organization for kids with congenital heart disease. You can attend, I believe, ages 7 through 17. And then now Nick and Kelly has their own heart camp. I believe it's in Prescott. You can, I don't know the age ranges. I believe it's about the same. But each organization has their own website, and you can go and take a look at that. And they are both amazing camps. They look beautiful. They're both splendid. They're just both amazing from what I've heard and what I've seen, and also what I've been a part of. And that was a great stepping stone for me to meet a bunch of other people who had the same thing as I did, or were going through the same struggles that I was. And I know it's a lot, and I know it's really, really hard to do, because I didn't I didn't do it until I got way, way older. I say that as if I'm like in my 30s. I'm only 19. But as I navigated through high school and everything, I had some difficult times in my sophomore year. But I was able to just finally learn after that I could just accept that this is how I am. This is how I'm always going to be. And there's nothing else I can do about it. And that's also what a congenital heart disease patient needs to do. They have to mentally learn how to accept that this is how they are, this is how they're going to be. And if only we could fix all of it. If we can, then that's great. That's amazing. It's a miracle, and it's fantastic. But you just have to mentally accept that this is how you are. This is how you're going to be. And it's a challenge. It takes some time to really, really process through it. It's not like the snap of your fingers. For some it can be, and for others it takes a while, and that's okay. You just have to learn how to mentally accept that that's how it's going to be, because it helps you just cope with it a little bit easier, helps you deal with it. And you also have to learn how to love every inch of your scar. I have 4 scars, technically. I have 3 from tubes, and then I have 1 major scar straight down my chest. It goes down just above my belly button. Actually, I have a good amount of space between my belly button and the end of my scar. And I've come to terms with it, that I love it. It's something on my body that I wouldn't trade for the world, and I'm glad that I have it. And I'm glad that it's something that I see every time I'm in front of a mirror, or I'm getting undressed or getting dressed. It's a part of who I am, and it shows the struggles that I've endured and that I've been through, and it shows that I am stronger than anything that had attempted to hurt me when I was just a little baby. And I still have my moments of like, I don't really like my scars so much, because it's not on other people's chest. I was a stage manager in the theater program, at my high school, and actors and actresses are very comfortable with their bodies, and so am I. I think when we were seniors, I think we had a show, and one of my friends came in undressed and such, and I took a look at her chest, and I was like, wow, that looks weird. And she's like, what does? And she didn't have anything on. She was covered up, but I I just saw a chest without a scar, and I was like, I was just weirded out because I was like, you don't have a scar. There's nothing there. She's like, Constance, I know that. She's like, now you're making me feel uncomfortable, and I was like, I'm sorry, but it's a cool thing to like see and a weird thing to see that other people don't have what we have. They don't. They don't have a scar straight down their chest, and it's not something that like they're used to just like showing off. I think when I got more comfortable, I would just lift up my shirt. No, yeah, there's my scar. This is what it looks like. That's what it does. Or lower my shirt just so you could see the top of my scar. And it was just weird to see her without a scar. It was weird to see my significant other without a scar. It was weird to see people without scars because I think that a scar is pretty freaking cool. And now, if you don't have a scar, that is perfectly okay. Not everybody has scars. But that was one of the ways that I learned to just love every single inch and whatever it is, in my scar, and just embrace it and say, yeah, this is mine, and that's that. And I also, with learning to love my scar, I also had to learn the basics of what is going on in my actual heart. And so I have IDD, transposition of the great arteries with double outlet right ventricle. It's like a big name that we came up with for me. And as a CHD patient, as you get older, there may be some helicopter parents. There may not be helicopter parents. Regardless of which type of parent you have, you should always know what is going on in your heart in case of the event that they aren't around to be able to say something. I've had plenty of fainting episodes when I was a sophomore in high school that I didn't have my parents around to say, this is what's wrong with her, this is what's going on. Hey, this is what's wrong, and this is how you work with her, this is how you progress her, stuff like that. And you should just learn those basics so that you know what to do in the event of an emergency, or just, if you want to spark up a conversation, be like, you know what, dude, this is what I've got. You're my friend, I like you, you're cool, let's just have a conversation. All types of stuff. Mine is all types of complex. I think I've had one too many valves, or there's a band around my pulmonary artery. The top of my heart is twisted backwards. All types of things. I have all types of problems that are wrong with my heart. But it's just good to know what exactly is going on so that I'm aware all the time. And I know how to talk about it and not be scared to talk about it. And I also had to get out of the mentality that I was a sick kid, as I put air quotations around my hands. We're sick. We are sick. But that does not define who you are. Because you are so much more than sick. You are strong, amazing, kind, handsome, beautiful, outgoing, shy. You are courageous. You're brave. You are more than a sick person. And it is very, very difficult to get out of that sick mentality. Because you think, I'm never going to be able to be enough. I'm never going to be able to do what I want to do. I'm never going to be good enough because I'm sick. But you are more than sick. You are amazing. You're great. You're wonderful. You are more than sick. And just learn to take your time to get out of that sick mentality, to get out of that mindset that you're not good enough, that you're not worth it, because you are. in every single way. And not only do you have to learn to love yourself the way that you are, but the people that you meet will learn to love exactly who you are, regardless of what's going on in your heart. Because you're not sick. You're not. You're stronger than what has attempted to damage you. And I know that one step into getting out of that mentality is that you have to try your best to not be angry with your heart. It's a frustrating thing. It's really, really just like, why? Why me? Why does this have to be me? Why do I have to deal with it? What's the deal? Why did I sign up for this in the womb? I don't remember signing a paper and agreeing to this. I know I never really read the terms and conditions, but you just have to learn how to not be angry with your heart. And that's a step towards getting out of the mentality that you're a sick person, because it's a frustrating thing. It's a very frustrating thing to deal with at times. When I went for my first semester of college, I attended a university in Iowa. And Iowa is very, very cold in the winter, but their winters have been getting harsher and harsher throughout the years. I came back for winter break in December, and I returned back to school in January. And in January, I had a fainting episode, which is something that I did not have in quite some time. I was perfectly fine up until that point. And my family and I believe that it was due to the extremely cold weathers that are over there. And I had to make the decision about whether I was going to stay there to finish my education, because it was a school that I loved. It was a place that I fell in love with, and it was good. It was a good environment to be in. I made some good friends. I made some not so good friends. But I also had to make the decision about whether I'm going to give it up, a really good scholarship, and come home. And I think for about a couple of days after I went to the hospital and I came back to my dorm, I was really angry. I was really frustrated, and I was mad about how I felt tired. I felt drained. I felt fatigued. I felt dead. I felt so I lost my life. I just lost my energy so drastically. And I was so upset, because it was all because of my heart. It was all because this one thing that's supposed to be keeping me alive isn't doing its job. It's not working. And I didn't understand why it wasn't working. And I really had to come to terms with, I'm going to go home. And I'm going to continue my education over there. And I'm going to do that. And that's that. All because of my stupid, stupid heart. All because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work sometimes when I need it to. And I was so angry. And sometimes I still get angry at my heart. But my heart has gotten me to where I am today. I'm learning and living and loving life. And it's a difficult concept to comprehend. Don't be angry with your heart. Be okay with the fact that you're a heart patient. Be okay with what's wrong. Be okay. Be okay with the little things. with the little cough here and there, with the little sniffles, with the ups and downs, with the getting tired, with the blue lips, with the feeling weak. Be okay that you have to go to the hospital. Take medications every day. Be okay with it. Because it makes you you. And it gives you life lessons every now and then. You just have to be okay with the fact that you are a heart patient. You have to be okay with what is actually wrong with you, what's wrong with your heart, what's going on. You have to be okay with your heart. Be okay. Because it makes you you. And it makes you one of the strongest congenital heart disease kids or adult there is. Love your heart. Because you're a heart warrior. You are. Thank you for coming to the second podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much. This is Constance from Mysterious Hearts. Have a good day. Bye.